Wow, what a fight. Great fight between Khabib Nurmagomedov and Dustin Poirier. You know, everybody was thinking that Poirier was a very complete fighter, especially having a reach advantage. I mean, it's only a slight reach advantage, but people thought that his striking skills were going to be good enough to slow down Khabib. And even during their name calling, you could tell that Khabib was in hometown because people were really cheering for him. Even at one point, people were chanting his name. And for Poirier, I felt kind of bad because they booed for him. When they got into round one, they were just kind of testing each other. It wasn't soon after, maybe a minute into it, that Khabib went in for a takedown. It was semi-successful, got him against the fence, started to slow him down a little bit, started to tire him out a little bit, and this is what Khabib does best, is wrestle his opponents, and what happens is they end up doing a lot of work. So Dustin Poirier is just doing a lot of work and using up a lot of energy just wrestling Khabib, and Khabib is just conditioned for wrestling. Eventually gets him on the ground, but Poirier gets back up eventually, and Khabib just kept pushing him back on the ground and almost got him in a choke lock, but Dustin was able to get out. And I mean, this is what he was doing for training, just to get ready for this. He knew that there's going to be ground and pound going on. Khabib, you know, smashed him a few times there and tried to get that arm underneath the chin, and every time he couldn't, he would just continue to smash him. And at one point, might have looked like he got a rear naked choke lock in there, but Poirier was able to get out of that, get back on his feet. But still, just all wrestling against the fence for the first round. And you could tell by the end of the round that Dustin is he's wiped out. His energy is out. And this is it. One round of just winning by points, one round of smashing, nasty elbows, and then even after the round, you could see Khabib just trying to get into his head. And Khabib does that, right? He trash talks his opponents, try to get them into his head, try to reduce their psychological energy levels. And in round two, it was surprising because Poirier got him with a nice right hand that lands, and you could see Khabib just retreating for a few moments there. Afterwards, stood his ground, and it was a stand-up fight for a while until Khabib went in for another takedown, got him up against the fence, and slammed him hard. And once they're on the ground, Khabib just takes full control and just has his full weight on Poirier. You could just tell how good Khabib is on the ground, and the way he uses both his upper body and his legs as well to control Poirier. At this point, I just don't know if there's anybody out there that could beat Khabib. He just looks so strong. He's able to go toe-to-toe, standing up, and then once you get on the ground, he just pounds. And he takes full control of Poirier here. And then eventually, Poirier starts bleeding out, and it looked like it was bothering him a bit because the cut was bleeding pretty bad at that point. And at any point, you can see that when they're grappling, when they're wrestling, Khabib's positioning is so good. At this point also, the Eagle is 5 for 6 in his takedown attempts. I mean, that's an insane percentage. And at this point, you could see that Poirier's he's just getting more and more exhausted as he's taking a beating, as Khabib's just controlling the fight, as he's hitting him in the back of the leg, he's striking him in the head, he's throwing elbows, he's keeping his weight on him, he's tripping him, he's slamming him down. It's just so difficult to deal with somebody like Khabib because he has such a complete game. And what I found striking was when the round ended, you could see Khabib again trash talk him a little bit, but when they went back to their teams, you could see Poirier just sit down right away, heavy breathing, and Khabib, I don't know if it's a psychological thing, but he just stood up. He didn't even sit down. I mean, this is how much energy this guy has. This is how conditioned he is, that when the opponent has to sit down breathing heavy, Khabib is there just standing up. And that big right hand that Poirier landed definitely got him respect from Khabib. But as soon as Khabib went back downstairs and went back to wrestling, went in for that takedown, it was all Khabib. And at this point, you know, Khabib's winning 2 rounds. And it was the third round that was really striking because you could see Khabib come in for a takedown. Somehow, Dustin got this loose guillotine in, and at one point, it looked like he was going to actually get Khabib to tap out because the guillotine looked totally locked in. But at this point, Dustin is using a lot of arm energy, and Khabib goes to his side, gives him a little bit of breathing room, gets loose, surprisingly is able to get loose, and then right away, this tells you how smart Khabib is. He comes up behind him, takes control of his hands, gets right behind, presses his body up against him, and then just ties up his hand, and then now he's in complete control. And Poirier at this point is exhausted. Khabib hits him a few times, grounds and pounds him, puts his entire upper body weight on him, and then finds an opening as he pounds him, and then goes in for a neck crank, repositions, and at this point it just looks like he's just controlling Dustin, and then he gets perfect position, and his neck crank locks in, and boom, it's done. Dustin Poirier taps out, and again, the Eagle jumps out of the cage, but to hug UFC President Dana White. What a match. What a match. What do you guys think? Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, be positive and stay positive, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.